Okay, so I've got a topic for you.
All right.
We like to surprise you with the topics. This topic actually came out of a recent conversation, two conversations actually. One was with a friend of mine, a former colleague that works at a large global general contractor, and the other was just another friend, but smaller. It was more of a personnel matter, dealing with an employee.
Okay.
So the topic is, it's kind of a bit of a jumble, but the topic is basically, as a Gen Xer, you and I are, right? Mm-hmm. The topic is kind of a generational, let's talk about the generational divide in the construction industry. We've got our generation, there may be a few boomers still hanging around, but we're not talking about them. Our generation has moved into executive roles throughout the industry.
Yes.
Then you have your millennials
Mm-hmm.
that have moved into management, senior management type of things, right? And then you've got the young kids. I think they call them Gen Y now, or Gen Z.
Gen Y, Gen Z.
I get confused.
Alphas are
Anyway,
too young.
They're in their 20s, right? They're beginning their careers. So the situation the question that came to me from my friend at the large builder was, they've had quite a bit of turnover. Mm-hmm. And they were looking. We wanted to talk about, like, what kind of advice do you give to a young person on how to guide their career? How do you get ahead in this business? How do you succeed? How not to burn out? Those types of topics.
Okay.
So I guess I want to start with, from your perspective, how do you think you got ahead when you were in your 20s in this business? What did you do to advance?
Wow, that's a good question. So my 20s.
And how did you not go stark raving mad doing it? Because you're still here. You didn't burn totally out.
No, not totally. How did I get ahead? Well, I mean, so, like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty smart guy. Right. So my parents are both, well educated. They were educators. I was educated, so I was knowledgeable about a lot of stuff outside of construction.
Right. And
I know I have good critical thinking skills.
Okay.
I have good analytics. I have good analysis. So I was able to get ahead in the industry, one, just because I have some innate talents and skills that are aligned to the industry.
Okay.
When it came to, like, estimating or project management, I have that type of a brain. So I had some built-in stuff that helped. But I was also a guy who loved to work. So I would put in the hours.
Yeah.
I would go above and beyond, one, to get ahead, but also because I got a lot of personal satisfaction out of it. So sure. I was just talking to my wife the other day, and I was saying, it's about to, be daylight savings time is about to end, and it's about to go to winter. And I'm like, I love this time of year. I used to love getting up and being at work before the sun came up and staying till after the sun went down. And
well, that's cheating during standard time.
It's what I'm saying. But it's easy.
We get maybe 8 hours of light a day.
I'm saying I get to do that now as a consultant, but I used to love getting up and being on the job site 6:30, 7, or being at the office before everybody. And then I loved being late at the office, because usually at the end of the day, the only person there besides me the only people there were, like, executives.
Right.
So I would get a chance to talk to executives by staying late because everybody else went home. And then I got access to people who are way up the chain, and they saw me just because I liked working. I had a lot.
Putting in the effort.
There was always a lot to do. There's always more you could be doing.
Right.
You can get by doing the 40 hours a week, but you could get ahead by staying late and putting in the extra hours. That was a real key. I worked at a couple of smaller companies where I got access to owners or executives by staying late or being there early, and they would want to talk to me because I was putting in the effort. They saw I was worth investing some of their time in. And then I think later on when I worked at big companies, same thing. I kind of led by example as I rose to the ranks. I put in the hours, and I expected the people on my team to also put in the effort at least.
So you touched on something there, the innate talent part.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I've observed in my career is there's a couple of commonalities of people that are in this business. And it kind of falls into that innate talent thing. It looks like you'll hear people say, I like seeing the fruits of my labor at the end of the day. Like when I got here this morning, there was nothing over there, and now there's a building standing there, basically, right?
Sure.
And there's a legacy to that.
Yep. That was there for me.
Construction people are definitely problem solver, thinker, doer type of people as a general rule. We can be kind of mathy, engineering, but so the innate talent thing is something that I wanted to touch on. So let's say you've got a younger person, maybe in their 20s, maybe they're in their 30s, and they're looking for more. They want more. There's kind of I'm being very generalist here, but there's, the younger generations have this rap that they're not as hard a worker as we were. And I don't know if our parents said that about us or not, but that's the general consensus. Everybody likes to kind of pick on the younger kids. You guys don't have the work ethic anymore, et cetera. What is your take on that? Do you think that that's a real thing?
Oh, got me skating on thin ice here. I would say I think anybody who's doing what they're passionate about doesn't have a problem with a work ethic.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what age they are. If you love what you're doing or you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like going to work. It feels like going to do something you enjoy.
Right. And even if it's hard.
And the work ethic
especially
is there.
If it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, the work ethic is there. People should pursue their passions. And if your passion is construction, the work ethic should probably be there.
Okay.
It'll kind of follow along. You kind of go hand in hand. Doesn't mean you have to put in 80 hours a week or even 50 hours a week, but you're maximizing the time that you're there and you're being productive. You're on the team. You're a contributor,
right?
Or anything like that. So I don't think they have a bad. I think they get a bad rap when saying they don't have the work ethic. I think they have a harder time finding where their passion lies.
Do you think that there is some skill involved there? So there's innate talent. There's drive. Let's call it drive, right? God-given ability to think through a problem, and then there's drive. But do you think there is a skill set required in navigating, working with your boss, working with others? This is a team sport. Construction it's always been a team sport. Do you think there's a skill set involved there? Or
I have a couple of superintendents in my past that might disagree with that, but it was a dictatorship.
Yeah, well,
you were just a subject in their court, and you just do what they told you to do.
I worked with a few of those as well.
Those were the boomers, or they were the greatest generation guys.
Yeah,
they were aging out when I was coming in.
Me too,
and
yeah.
God, you could learn a lot from them.
They could still throw a hard hat, though.
Oh yeah, with some force.
Yeah.
All right. So I was thinking about Otis. You remember Otis?
I remember Otis well. When Otis leaves the room, the meeting's over.
I don't care what you were saying.
Whether you think you're done or not, when he's done, you're done.
That's it. It's his meeting.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Otis left. I guess we're not talking about this anymore.
Guess we'll pick it up next week.
Yeah, right.
Same time.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. I don't know that I have a solid answer.
I'm going to ask it in a different way.
Okay.
Let me ask you a different way. So,
what do you think about that?
Well, so I think there are skills. I do. I think there are things you can learn.
Learn skills.
Yes, learned skills on how to. Well, let me approach it this way.
Okay.
I think that for all kinds of reasons that I don't have enough degree to understand, psychological, cultural, all these things. I do know that I can, millennials and the younger kids, that are 10, 20, 30 years younger than we are, that are in this business, grew up in a very different time than we did. Mm-hmm. We didn't grow up with technology at all, hardly. I mean, we had VCRs, I guess, that counts. But let's take, for example, I can't look at a set of drawings on an iPad. I can do it. I mean, I'm not incapable of doing it, but I don't like it. It feels very uncomfortable to me. because I learned how to flip drawings.
Yeah.
I got used to doing this a lot, right? So I think
what's interesting is we're the same age,
Yeah.
and 15 years ago, when I got an iPad,
Mm-hmm.
I figured out how to be able to download a set of drawings onto my iPad, so I could stop walking around with
Right.
a set of plans, and I got practiced at zooming in and out
Yeah.
and flipping pages and learning how to navigate on drawings on an iPad, because I might have to walk 2 or 3 job sites in a week, and I wasn't going to bring that many sets of plans on a plane with me.
Right.
So I put everything on an iPad, even and just the regular one, not even those big
Yeah,
iPad
right.
Pros. So I learned that skill, and now I can work off of digital plans if I have to. I still like paper.
Right. Well, so
But
what I'm
I get
getting,
it.
What I'm getting with is kind of there's a comfort zone is where I was headed with this. So
Okay.
the question is, I wrote a blog about this about if you're a natural doer.
Oh, I read this one yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I read it yesterday.
If you're a natural doer, if you're good at something, if
How do you
you're
teach it?
if you're a good guitar player because you picked up the guitar and you just kind of learned it and like, oh shit, I've got talent. I didn't know I had talent. Or any other skill.
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach it? I don't know how I wrote that song. I just wrote it. I mean, I just heard it in my head and I wrote it.
Yeah.
I can teach you chords, I guess. I could teach you some theory, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Maybe I don't even know theory because I didn't need it. I was that talented.
Well, this is the difference between it. I can teach you what to play, but I can't give you the emotion behind it to make
Okay,
it sound
now-
like how you
okay.
want. I can't teach you how to make music. I can teach you how to play notes.
Now we're getting somewhere.
All right.
This is
Yeah.
this is where I wanted to go.
Okay.
There are things, there's skills you can teach, but you have to have the get up and go, that passion. You have to want it. I had a boss that told me I was just starting to kind of like manage people, so I'm like maybe late 20s, early 30s, and I got a project engineer that's been assigned to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you are not responsible for motivating that guy. He has to motivate himself. You can teach him how to write an RFI in a good way. You can teach him how to organize himself. You can teach him how to manage a submittal log and follow up and do all the good skills that you have to be a project manager. But it's like, if he's not motivated, that's not your job to teach him that. He should have had that.
Well, that kind of goes back to the passion I was talking about.
Right.
If you are passionate about what you're doing, the ethic shows up, the
Right.
motivation shows up. So you don't have to teach that if they're in the right seat. This could go a few different ways. I was thinking a few minutes ago when you were asking that question originally. I'm like, well, what are they doing? Are they an estimator? Are they a project manager? Are they a superintendent?
Good question.
Are they
It
a
could
trade
matter.
person? Because they have different skills you need to be successful in those different roles. And just because somebody's a good superintendent doesn't mean they're going to make a great project manager.
No.
They are different skill sets.
Yeah.
And if that person's passion is being in the field and working with the trades and getting their hands dirty, or being on the job site wearing
Right.
boots and a hard hat every day, sticking them in the office is not going to motivate them.
Have you ever met a superintendent that wants to sit at a desk? Ever?
Not a good one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
It's like you might as well like cut their oxygen off.
And I was I speak for myself that I was pretty versatile. I was good at being a superintendent, but I was better at being a project manager, and I knew that was the direction. I was kind of pulled in that direction by something outside of me. It was like, this is where you're going to be happier and more successful, and that was the path I chose.
I remember I was being interviewed. I was in school, I was about to graduate, and I was going through interviews and stuff, and I met with big corporate builder guy, and the HR person came to campus, and I was told like there was like this path I was going to like, well, you're going to start in the office as an estimator, a junior estimator, and you're going to rotate through these roles. You're going to then become a field engineer, but you may not go in this exact order. There may be a different order, and she's just going on and on. And I point blank said, I don't want to estimate. I already know I don't want to do it. If I told her, I'm such a cocky bastard, if you offer me a job, I won't take it. I don't want to be an estimator. I want to go to the field and I want to build.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get offered a job.
Probably not.
Surprise.
Yeah.
But I went and found somebody that would hire me, that would make me a assistant PM, assistant superintendent, somebody wearing boots, because that's where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
That was where my passion was. I still hate estimating.
Yeah. See, and you knew that innately. I think that might be something that the younger generation struggles with is they don't have the internal compass or they don't know how to read the internal compass to know. Maybe. I don't want to, I'm not here to put anybody down or cast aspersions or anything.
Well, we're also talking in some generalizations here.
I would say I think that we're talking about like 20 and 30 somethings. So whatever generation that that category, those age groups fall into, 20 somethings, 30 somethings, they were, I think my belief is that they were coddled, they were protected, they were guided, they were told what to do by their parents, and they weren't left to figure it out on their own or given the freedom to figure it out on their own. And so they have a very hard time reading their own internal compass. They have been guided and kind of brought along on a path that their parents thought was best for them without considering what they really wanted. And so they have a very hard time, or they struggle with finding their internal compass and knowing where their actual passions lie, which is why they change majors, they change jobs, they hop skip, they don't know how to read themselves yet, or they don't know themselves well enough yet.
So that's an interesting take on that.
I say that because I felt that way when I was in my late teens. Like I kind of knew where I wanted to go, but my parents were not that overbearing or controlling about which direction I took my career. They gave me the latitude to kind of explore some of that in college and take different jobs. And they never stopped me from doing anything, and they didn't push me in a direction either. Right. And that helped me figure out where I should go and what was best for me.
You mentioned that. My kids, when my oldest started to think about going to college and thinking about what he wanted to do for a career and a vocation, all that, I told all of them. I sat down, all three.
So don't go into construction.
Well, one of them did, but no, I
kind of too.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I never said don't do this, but I did tell them. I said I'm going to struggle helping you find your way with this. I would like to give you advice about how to find it, but I don't know how to tell you. This goes back to that whole, how do you teach somebody something you just understand and do it intuitively? Yeah. I knew I wanted to be in this business when I was 17 years old, 18, I guess, right at there, somewhere in there. I knew it. I didn't understand the career path. There's a lot of stuff I didn't understand, but I know once someone told me you can make a career of this, it was all over. Like I never had any other thought whatsoever. I took a couple of classes. I took a couple of intro classes in school, and it was all she wrote. I mean, I never thought of anything else. So I was lucky, I guess. That's the way I think about it.
Yeah.
I figured it out. I figured it out
early.
Really early. I didn't have to kind of pinball around. It's a little bit my personality too. Like once I think I got a beat on something, I lock in on it pretty hard.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that. I'm similar, but not the same. Yeah. I ping ponged around a little bit on different paths. I looked at chemical engineering. There was business. There was a brief stint in philosophy.
Let's not forget rock star.
That's right. I was also pursuing a music career at the time that materialized into nothing after we cut an album. Anyway, so it's like I had a lot of passions or a lot of interests, and wound up in construction because it made a lot of sense to me and it resonated with a lot of things that I was looking for in a career. You talked early on about, I was standing here yesterday and there wasn't a building. I'm standing here today. Yeah. So do you remember that scene in The Breakfast Club where he goes, I like you pulled the little chain on the elephant
and the light doesn't come on.
And the light comes on or it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know instantly whether you did it right or wrong.
Yes.
I loved that, which is what drew me to electrician was I could tell right away whether I did it right or not. I flipped the switch and the light came on or it didn't.
Pure fucking magic.
That's it. Pure fucking magic. So that was something that drew me into the trades was like not delayed satisfaction or delayed gratification. Yeah. It was like more instant results. I got feedback quicker in the trades. I liked that. Plus being an electrician, I got to use math and science and my brain a little bit more than some of the other more, shall we just say, more labor intensive trades like pouring concrete or something. Not that there's not some technicalities to it, but electrician, HVAC, plumbing, those have a bit more math or science to them than just brute force.
Right.
So I was drawn to those more rigorous trades.
So you just said something I hadn't really thought about this. You were talking about kind of more maybe generally younger generation had just narrow guide rails than we did.
I mean, we were left alone for days at times, just like figure it out.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
when you have a good FSO, figure shit out.
Yeah,
you that applies across your life. You don't know only how to like figure out how to make
critical
dinner.
thinking or problem solving skills, I guess.
Yeah. Also, like, well, I got to do something for dinner, so I guess I better figure it out. And it's kind of like, well, I guess I better do something with my career. I guess I better figure that out. What do I like to eat? What do I like to do?
That tracks. Okay, that tracks for me because I had a note. I was thinking about this as I was when my friend called me and asked me about this. My note was the younger generations seem to want more direction from what I've gathered personally. I've talked to other.
They're used to being spoon-fed explicit instructions on how to do things.
Yeah,
they have YouTube videos to watch to figure out how to do stuff.
Right.
They don't have to figure shit out on their own. They have resources. So they're used to, they want resources.
Right.
Coming back to how you started this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Doers. How do you teach somebody?
How do you teach somebody to do?
Right?
Yeah.
If they're passionate about it, they'll tell you how to teach them. They will come to you and go, I need you to explain to me how you figured that out. How did you make that decision?
I hate not knowing this. You've got to tell me. Like, you've got to help me figure this out.
I need to understand. Like, I agree with what you did, and I admire what you did. Can you explain to me how you did that? Like, they'll ask you. When they want to know, they will come to you to get the answer, just like they will go search it on YouTube or
it's interesting.
God, ask AI now. But just like I look up lyrics to songs that I've known for 30 years, but I don't know what those 3 lines are. And I literally had to look up Metallica lyrics yesterday for an album that's 30 years old. It's bad.
Foul.
I've been like, have I been singing? I turned out I had one word wrong.
That is
but I was like,
foul.
With dust in throat, I crawl. That was the line I couldn't figure out off the Black album. And I literally Googled it to look it up. What did you think
it was?
With dust in throat, I crave.
Oh.
Because he had kind of weird.
Yeah, well, there's
at the end.
He growls
dust in throat, I crave, or whatever. I was like, is he saying crawl or crave? Or anyway, but it's like, they do that. They grew up with the internet. They grew up with Google. They grew up just being able to query, how do I do this? What does this mean? And so they will go and ask questions to figure out what they want to understand. And if they're not asking you questions, they're not passionate about what they're doing, might be a conclusion we could draw.
That's an interesting insight. I hadn't thought about it quite like that.
That's what I take about the younger generations is they expect to have a full understanding of what's happening before they do it. And if they don't, they're going to ask questions because they're hesitant to do stuff, not knowing how to get to the result you're looking for. Mm-hmm. That's why they go.
Okay.
I watch our 11-year-old, like before he builds stuff with his Legos, he'll watch a video on how they build it. So he knows how to get through it to get to the end result.
That is fascinating.
To have the Lego done. And he's done so many of them now that he doesn't need to watch the videos anymore. But he used to watch the videos to see how they built it so he can recreate it.
Because my dad used to get really pissed at me because I would not read the instructions. This sounds funny coming from a guy who grew up and built stuff, but
yeah.
And I relied on and I lecture contract drawings and contract now. But
when I throw that key of directions
when I was a kid and I built Legos, it was like the fun was figuring it out without the instructions. I loved that. Still do. When my kids were that age,
generation, they've always had the instructions on demand available with a video to walk them through it. And they don't like risk.
Yeah, my dad, he would get so mad. I can remember him just growling at me like a bear.
Again, we're speaking generalized, but they're very risk averse. They don't like to fail. They've been given participation trophies. They've been rewarded for trying, but they like to succeed. And failure is anathema to them. I think that's the right way to use that word. They hate failure.
Okay.
So they will do everything they can to not fail, and that will be like doing their own research.
Okay, so all right, so let's
asking questions.
All right, so now let's turn this. Now we're okay.
Asking for mentoring, yes.
Asking for mentoring, right? Yes. Asking for So all right,
if they care, they'll pull it out of you.
So let's flip this. So we're us. We have we have peers in.
We're in charge now.
Yeah,
Who the fuck put us in charge? Jesus, Gen X in charge of everything. You're lucky you all still have jobs.
Yeah. Just put a key around our neck and we'll get in and out of the door. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
So all right.
No,
so,
I got it.
So
I can make dinner right now at a Nuka hot dog. It's fine.
We have peers in the industry, and there are some 30, 40-year-olds that have younger generations reporting them, and they've got it. So how do you structure something? Given what we just said, like, okay, well, all right, the younger generations want to succeed. It's not a lack of want. They have a passion, but their metrics or their means to learn are different than what we were. We weren't taught shit. They just told us go out there and figure it out. So for the most part,
yeah. We weren't encouraged to fail, but we were allowed to fail.
Okay. There you go. So, all right. So then how does that translate? So I run a construction business. I have a friend that asked me this question.
Yeah.
How do you structure a training program, a mentorship program, even perhaps, or even just advice to a younger generation of how to survive this business, not burn out, learn something, advance, it's all those things. What is that? How do we help those business owners? And we've got clients like this. We've got clients that are our age and older that are like, these fucking kids, I don't know how to teach them. So
yeah.
What is
shameless plug? You hire a consulting.
Yeah, you hire us. We know how to do that.
Did you say breaking the fourth wall?
I did it.
I did too. Yeah. So you're asking.
What do you think that looks like? Do we have any solutions to, wrap this up a little bit? What?
Yeah.
Beyond the.
So what would I tell your friend who's a construction business owner? How do you teach the younger generation? Well, I would say first,
and remember, we've established that we have our generation learned an entirely different way.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
well, as somebody who now learns similar to the way that millennials and Gen Z learns, because I'm doing research and I'm watching YouTube videos to learn things as well.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty great.
I'm asking AI how to do certain things, or I don't stop learning, and there's new things for us to figure out all the time. So I'm certainly aligned with how they learn to some extent. I sure have a running start, but what would I tell your friend who's a business owner? I would say first, let's make sure you got the right people. You got the right people that are showing the interest, the passion, right? If they are, why don't you start by asking them, what could I do to help you learn this better?
I like that.
Like, why don't you ask them? They're people. Like, they'll have, if they know themselves at all, they should be able to tell you, well, I learn best when. I learn best if you do this. I would like to spend time with this person. I would like to spend some time in estimating. I would like to spend some time in business development. Tell them, look, there's no wrong answer here, but tell me what would make sense to you, just as a starting point for the conversation. I'm not saying you give them exactly what they're asking for, but I'll give you an example. When I got hired by a big electrical contractor to go build high rises, I'd never built a high rise before. I was an industrial guy, so everything was a couple of stories, but it was massive, millions of square feet.
Me either. First high rise I built was the first high rise I built.
So they gave me one. They gave me a high rise, and I said, "Well, I've never built a high rise before. Can I go work in your estimating department for a few months?" And they were like, "Of course, yeah." I'm like, "I want to learn I want to learn how to build it on paper before I go out and try and run it on the job site as a project manager." And that was how I asked them to learn. I think if you asked them, what could I do to help you learn, you might get some answers that would help.
That reminds me, I was given what I considered excellent advice. I just come out of school. My stepdad told me, congratulations, you got a degree.
You don't know shit
now. You
now.
don't know shit. But then he said, here's what you need to do. You need to go learn how to build. Here's how you do that. You go find a superintendent an older guy out there in the field, and you get in his hip pocket. And here's how you endear yourself to him. You ask him questions. And if he doesn't answer you, then go find another old guy to ask questions until you find somebody that will answer them.
If you've never read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence
That's
People.
exactly where that came from.
That's where you need to start.
That's where that came from.
People love to talk about themselves. They love to share their knowledge, their stories, their experiences. They like to feel like they're contributing to other people. And that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, endear yourself to someone who looks like they might know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know what they're doing.
So I didn't get that.
They might pretend.
I didn't get that advice, but I always kind of innately knew, like, surround yourself with the people who you want to be like.
Right.
Try and play at a higher level than you're at. Make it up and then back it up. Was a good one for me. Like, yeah, I can do that. And then go figure it out.
Yeah, just so you say,
then
you say yes. And
you say yes to, when you say yes, a door opens. When you say no, a door closes.
Right.
And that door is very hard to reopen. So I learned at a very early age, try and say yes to as many things as you can and figure it out. And that's where you rely on your God-given talents and knowledge and skills and your education to back you up so you can think critically, make smart decisions, ask for help when you need it, learn how to ask for help. Go learn. Go be successful.
I've always said that I anytime I hired somebody, I would much prefer to have to kind of yank the chain a little bit and pull them back than have to kick them off the porch every morning.
Yes. That's a very Kentucky thing to say.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah. Which is another way of saying you want smart, self-starter, motivated people. I would much prefer somebody that's just like dying to go get it.
Yeah.
Then somebody says, I know everything.
Yeah. Well, the people who are dying to go get it are exhausting too sometimes.
Sometimes.
They can be exhausting. But
you want somebody that's hungry.
I want somebody who shows up on time, ready to work.
Yeah.
Ready to learn, ready to do what you need to do to make the job, the project, the company successful. I think that's all you really need. That's the raw materials. From there, I can build on that. So to tell your friend, make sure you got people who want to be there and are motivated. They're passionate about what you do. They have we talk about things like shared visions.
Yeah.
A shared vision is just, you're both aiming for the same goal, really, So,
okay. So
the last thing I would say to your business owner friend is, you have to understand that because they learn differently, be prepared to be exhausted by their questions. Do not let it get under your skin. They're asking the questions because they are passionate about what they're doing. I used to get into arguments in the job trailer with other trades occasionally. And I had this superintendent, Bruce, big shout out to Bruce, still a friend of mine, still around, Bruce Sloan. Bruce was the general superintendent, the grizzled old, former iron worker. Right. And he'd go, okay, boys, I love the passion in the room. Now let's calm it down a little bit and go out there and build some shit.
Yeah.
Passion is what gets them motivated and stuff like that. So don't be prepared to be worn out, but it's to make them better.
Well, so that touches on a really important point. At some point you cross over in your career, you get to a certain age. I think most people do, I guess. You start to want to give back a little bit. You're like, I know I still don't know everything, but I have a lot of information to give. Yeah. So you want, people start to kind of get this feeling of, I think I'd like to teach somebody something.
Yeah. I told you early on, my parents were teachers. They were educators. Right. That was kind of the family business, except for me. I'm the outlier who went into business for himself and did all this other stuff. But somewhere probably early 40s is when that kicked in. I'm like, that's about right. Yeah. That's when I started. I was a project manager, senior project manager, whatever. And I started saying, give me some project engineers. I want to train them. Yeah. I put them on my team. I'll educate them. I'll level them up. Because that's when I knew enough and I was confident enough in my abilities to start teaching other people.
Or you had an idea, right?
I
You
knew
had a
I
point
knew
of
how to
view-
be.
a point of view.
I was already a very good project manager, and I'm like, I could teach this to other people, and I think I can make some more project managers.
Yep.
And I'm still in touch with a couple of the guys I mentored back then, which would be almost 15 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
They've gone to be very successful. I'm just proud to be part of their story.
You know that I don't know if I told you this before. When we did Limbrook, I'd been out of the building side of the business. I'd been working for a developer for about 4 or 5 years at that point.
Yeah.
And I came back, and I used to tell people, "Wow, I missed the smell of form oil," which was kind of true. It wasn't exactly true, but it was. I did kind of miss. I missed construction.
You didn't miss not wearing a tie.
I didn't have to wear a tie,
Oh.
but I did talk to lawyers all the time, and I hated that part. But the truth, really, there were multiple reasons. There were a lot of reasons, but one of them, legitimately, was I had a point of view. I was like, you know what, I know something about how to be a PM, and I want to teach PEs and APMs. I got a point of view, and I want to teach somebody this stuff.
Was that like our friend Ryan?
Yes, very much,
Yeah.
very much, yeah.
Cole?
No,
Was he
not
kind
so
of
much.
on the same level?
Nah, he's more same level.
Our buddy Ryan. Yeah.
Yes,
I
very
can
much,
see that.
very much him, very much.
Well, that's why I started this company.
Yeah.
Like, I had a point of view. I had
Right.
knowledge to share,
Yeah.
and I was like, I guess consulting's where it's at.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Put a bow on it.
I'm gonna try and put a bow on
Let's
this.
put a bow on this so we can put it on the Christmas tree.
So, yeah, by the time this comes out, it might be Christmas.
It might be.
You never know.
That's right.
So happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Mazel tov.
So we have multiple generations working in a same environment. That's always been true. When we
Sure.
came into the business, there were boomers, and the greatest generation were still working to some degree.
Oh, sure.
Mostly boomers, 'cause it's a massive generation, but we learned differently. We grew up differently than our parents did. The people behind us and our kids have grown up differently than we have, so we've learned differently. We have different way of taking in information. I think there's a couple universal things here. If a person has passion for the business, what they're doing, learning how to be a Sparky or
An estimator, a project
or
manager,
a
a
project
super,
manager, whatever.
or just a field hand.
If
Even
they
a
just
field,
love
even
being
a
there.
technician,
Right. If they love
They have
being there,
and they get personal satisfaction out of it.
right. If you get somebody that has some work, it's just called work ethic. That's what they always called it.
Yeah.
My parents always called it work ethic.
Motivation, whatever
Right.
you want to call it. Sure.
So the takeaway for a manager is recognize it. Also understand that you might get worn out with questions, or the means by which they come to you with questions might feel different to you because it's not how you went about
Right.
it or were
Right.
taught to go about it. But it doesn't change the intent.
Right.
Right.
It's the passion for understanding.
Right. Excellent. I think that puts a period on it pretty well.
All right.
Excellent.
Check us out on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.
Thanks.